Hi everybody, this is a screencast of how to attack assignment 2. I'm going to go ahead and click on assignment 2 here, and I'd like to just show you a good workflow that you can get into. So right away I'm going to click on assignment2.pdf and open that up and take a good look at it. Alright, so here we go, and it gives you the scenarios, and there's also a nice helper video here. So as we scroll down, I do correctvize this rubric, and I do validate using this validator. So these are some helpful hints where you can have an ID, any ID, and have an ahref that goes to some value that would go to that fragment. And this is the iframe section. So a lot of the things that I'm giving you here, you can just leave. So that said, you don't have to really hand code the assignment. You just have to use it, use the code that's given. So I'm going to go ahead and download the assignment2.zip. So here it is right here, and I'm going to go ahead and you see it's a folder called Tuscany. My computer renamed it Tuscany 2 because I already have a Tuscany folder on my desktop. So that said, we'll do this, I'll call this Tuscany hint. So we're looking at the right thing. Now, I'm going to drag the folder into Sublime so I can see all of my folders and files. And then I'm also going to open it up in, and you can do this with your text editor, the same thing. But I'm also going to open up this in this section. So, what is the requirement? Well, the requirement's on the PDF. And the first one is to make sure these all get linked. So right now I give you one example. It's called Poserello. So I'm hoping with that example you could go into the index and control the navigation. So like right here, you see how I have ahref Poserello. Now I'm going to put that next to the Tuscan countryside and do a closing anchor tag. And I can see, because it's in front of me, I can see countryside.html is the value of that script. Okay, so your job is to make sure through practice and repetition that these navigations are all consistent. So I'm saving the file, I'm going back into the index file and refreshing, and now I have a link there. And you can see it goes to the countryside.html, and this goes back to home. So the idea is to make a consistent navigation throughout. Every Sienna should go to sienna.html. Every photo should go to photos.html. Okay, so that's the biggest part. Down at the bottom, you'll see top of page. This is where you're going to need to add an ID at the top and go to that element. So I could say something like this. ID equals top. And this is what's given to you in the PDF. So now I could do ahref equals top, just like that, excuse me, and then I can close the link here. So that basically is how we can do that. Okay, so if I hit refresh, scroll down the bottom, you see top of page. I can just do that. Let me make sure that I can, it looks like my screencast, there you go. My screencast section was blocking the link. So if I click on this, you can see that it clicks up and then you go to the top. And you see how it says hashtag up top? That's because it's targeting the ID. So the other thing that people have a lot of problems with is the photos and how to create an iframe. So that is all inside here. Okay, so here's an iframe right here. I can actually literally copy and paste that code. And I'll put it down at the bottom. And we have thumbnails here. These are thumbnails, right? So I can do ahref, and I'll put the link around the image source tag. So I'll do image source equals, and I'll just do thumbnails because we're looking for the thumbnails directory. I'll do one of these for you. You guys can do the rest. And let's do posarello.jpg. So that's the source, okay? And then we need a link because we are targeting an iframe. So if I go back to the instructions, you're going to see this. Target a file into an iframe, all right? That's what we're doing, okay? So you see how it says target equals iframe name attribute value? Well, if I have an iframe and I call it name of photos, here we'll just kill this off. And we'll leave ID. And we could call this photos. And this can be photos. Now all I have to do is target the large image called photos and posarello.jpg and add a target. So the target can be equal to photos, because all I'm doing is following the same exact code that's given to you on the page. So you see how it says target ahref file name. The file name is the photos slash posarello.jpg, because that's where it's located. Take a look at the file, posarello.jpg. And now I can save it. We're going to save the index, or the photos rather. And we'll hit refresh, and we'll go to the photos themselves. So I'll click on photos, and now we have this image right here, right? And we've got to make sure that it's spelled right. So if you look here, the source equals image, source equals thumbnails, and it says literally thumbnails, and it's posarello_thumb.jpg. Okay? So now we'll do that. We'll hit refresh, go back to photos, hit refresh, and we should see the thumbnail. And when we click on that, what we need to do is make sure that it's targeting that section. So we're going to go ahead and take a good look at this. AF target equals photos. You know what? I have name, photo, and I don't need, this is width, by the way. That's misspelled. So that's one of the issues with this. I don't need a width and a height on this. You can add it, but it is a thumbnail. So I'm going to add a break tag here as well, just so you can take a good look at how this thing's going to work. So now I go back, and I see this, and we've got to make sure that it just targets. One thing you need to do is when you work with your console up, which I'm going to do in just a second, you want to make sure that there are no errors. So I'm going to just zoom this over and go to Photos and turn on my dev tools right here, and we'll take a look. I'm going to actually dock the dev tools at the bottom. And we'll click that, and we see it goes to that section. So what we got to do is make sure that the target on the photos, target equals photos. So what I'm going to do is go back to my section here, and you see iframe name attribute value, and the iframe itself needs to be accurate. So when we look at iframe ID, we need to make sure, it should be width, but we need to make sure that the iframe has that value. So I'm going to add a source. Oh, you know what? If you look at this, see the quotes? Those are quotes because I copied it from the PDF, and that's why it's not functioning. So you want to make sure that they're actual quotes, not the / binary quotes. So make sure you type it in. But now you have this, and we can hit this, and now you see that that works. Okay? So the concept would be to, and I don't mind doing another one because that was kind of difficult, right? Let's do another one. We're going to do this. This is photos dot. We'll do Sienna. Okay, and then this will be Sienna _ thumb. All right. Sienna _ thumb. So I check my image names and their locations over here. I hit refresh, and I should see Sienna, and now I see this. And if you look at the results, it looks pretty good, right? I can click on this and this. Those are the values. Now, the original file is 375 by 500. So what I can do with the iframe is do a width equals 375, height equals 500, like that. And now my iframe will look even better. So I can do something like this and this. Okay? So the way this works, and let's say I wanted a starter page, because if you look at when I load the gallery, there's nothing here. All I have to do is give the iframe a default source. So I can do something like, here I'm going to paste this, and we're going to do source equals photo / posarello.jpg. So if I hit refresh here, you can see that's the source, and now I can go back and forth. So that's just about it. I would just recommend that you folks read the assignment and read the rubric and just check it off. If you check off the assignment rubric, you'll get 100. That's what I noticed the first assignment. It didn't seem like people were reading the instructions. So I would say code from what I give you, don't add anything. But we're looking, I think you'll enjoy this assignment. So if you need any more help, let me know.